I need to tell you something the world isn't going to say out loud. You are not behind. The system wasn't built for you. The financial industry wasn't designed with you in mind. So if the timeline feels off, that's not failure, that's awareness. Corporate America didn't waste your time. It's funding your evolution. And if you feel the nudge that something else is coming next, that's not impatience, that's preparation. Today, we're resetting the story, reclaiming your wins, and stepping into the bold decision that changes everything. Welcome to Money, Legacy, and Her, the podcast where ambition meets action and wealth is built with receipts. I'm your host, Darice Rene. Every week, we break down the real money moves, mindset shifts, and bold strategies ambitious women need to create legacy on their terms. This isn't hustle culture, it's power moves only. Let's get into it. If you're listening to this and quietly wondering if you should be further along by now, financially, professionally, spiritually, this episode is for you. So here we are. We're ending 2025. We're looking around, considering what we did, what we went through this year. You're seeing what other people are bragging about, and you're feeling this silent pressure to have it all figured out. Here's what I want to say to you, and I want this to be clear. You are not behind. You are in an early wealth shift most families never even attempt. Here's what you need to understand. The world is not coming to save us. As a matter of fact, when it comes to building wealth, the financial services industry was not designed with first-generation, high-earning Black women in mind. As a matter of fact, it just truly was not built for us. It's like the financial services industry is like someone picked us up out of the life we know and plopped us down in the middle of a foreign country. We don't know the people, the language, or the culture. Now, we're smart enough so we can eventually figure things out, but by that time, we're overwhelmed, tired of being tired, and hardly any better for being there. And let's not even talk about the feeling of being behind our peer group. It's just a fact. We can't wait for perfect clarity, permission, or even the right advisor, or else we'll stay stuck. What we know by now is that most systems reward people who already know the rules. We are learning the rules and rewriting them in real time. Feeling behind is often just the discomfort of doing something no one before you has done. Here's the way I see it. Generational wealth starts with one bold decision. That's principle number 8 in the Build Wealth Your Way principles. One bold decision, not perfection, not certainty, decision. You don't need a dramatic leap just yet. You need evidence of who you already are, which is why this tool that I'm going to talk about for the next couple minutes is so important. This tool, the Victory Journal, is a living document. It's a strategic asset. It is a confidence and clarity builder. Your Victory Journal is where you document proof, not just potential. So let's talk about it. Most of the women listening to this podcast episode are a particular profile. You are high income earners, you are educated, you are the first to do what you're doing in your family. You're influential everywhere you go, whether you're at work or at home. You are a trendsetter. You are smart. And around this time of where you are in life because of your accomplishments, you're thinking about what the next thing is. I surveyed the group that I'm talking to a couple years ago, and one of the things that came up on the survey that was really apparent is the fact that when it comes to building wealth, most of us don't know where to start, which is why we feel so behind, even though we've accomplished what we've accomplished. So, the victory journal is something that can help you segue into a more formal and commanding position in your journey. It is not a cute notebook, it's evidence. Victory journal is where you document proof of your value while you're still in the building. And what I mean by that is where you are right now is significant and it is worth stopping so that you can line up what's next. So before you ask for more, before you pivot, before you walk away, before you buy your freedom, this is how you're going to stop underestimating yourself. So here's the picture. You're in corporate, most likely, you're performing, you're over delivering, and you're quietly thinking, what's next? Is it ownership? Is it entrepreneurship? Is it consulting? Is it board seats? Is it investing? This journal helps you position yourself for that move instead of guessing your way into it. So, a couple things we're going to talk about today. What goes inside the journal, why this changes everything for you, and how it's going to position you for the next level. All right. So we'll get started with what goes inside the victory journal. So this is going to be simple. We're talking 1 page or entry per week so that it can fit into your life and your lifestyle. What you're going to want to track in the victory journal is 1, your wins and your results. So in your current position, and this could work for you too as an entrepreneur, because I know some of you listening are entrepreneurs already. I am, so it works for me too. What revenue was increased as a result of the work you did this week? What costs were reduced? Was there a process you improved? Was there a win in the team that you lead or the projects you delivered this week? You want real numbers when you can, not just vibes. And I'll tell you a story. I have a best friend who is a wonderful addition to her company, although they haven't figured it out yet. And she came into a company where there was no blueprint. Nobody walked her through it. As a matter of fact, she's typically the only brown woman in the room. And so she spends a great deal of her week proving her worth, regardless of the fact that she's breaking records that they didn't even know to keep. That's how far ahead she is in her role. So we're talking one day just casually about her week, and she's talking about how well her team of 120 is doing in their role. And, my numbers girl brain starts wondering, okay, what does that even really mean? I don't know very much about her industry at all, but I do know that money talks. So I said, have you ever looked at what your team is doing now versus a year ago? And so she said, our company is not necessarily set up to track that kind of data. I think it's out there, but we're not necessarily looking at it because my department is one of many. And so I challenged her to get with the people that had the data and to come back and let's talk about it. And what she found out was a game changer. When I tell you that she had increased sales, and we're not talking about a couple $1,000s, we're in the high 6-figure numbers. She had increased sales 40-some% year over year. The entire game shifted. She could go into her staff meetings and meetings with her peer group and higher ups and have a completely different level of conversation once she knew that. But she had to go seek out that information herself, and the company didn't even clock it until she talked about it. That's what happens when you don't document your impact. So recording your wins is step 1. Another part of what you can record is your skills and concepts learned. So think about what new frameworks you brought to the table, systems you now understand, a strategy you can now explain and execute on. These are transferable skills, which later become your intellectual property. Number 3, document the people and proximity that you've been exposed to. So this is executives that you've been in meetings with, whether they are inside your company or outside your company. In one of my very first roles out of college when I earned my bachelor's degree was in a pretty big company. It was a Fortune 100 company. And honestly, I didn't even have the wherewithal to really recognize what I was doing, how I was doing, and how important it was because I didn't have this language for a victory journal. But here is a 20-some-year-old college kid, fresh out of college, who is reporting to the regional VP of a Fortune 100 company. That regional VP, and I reported to him, only had top level executives on his team. The reason I was there was was a fluke. They put me there because I was running a department. It was telesales at the time. And nobody really knew how to manage telesales. And because there was no blueprint for it, they stuck me on his executive leadership team so that he could keep an eye on me and learn as I was learning. What a big deal that was. And because I was reporting to this regional, I was in rooms with executives with 10 plus years of experience. The conversations were different. They gave me a P&L to manage for my department. I'm serious, 20 some years old. I'm just learning how to spell P&L, and here I am running a P&L for my department simply because I was reporting to a regional who only had executives on his team. That was major, and it set me up from there. Please believe once I figured out what was going on, my stock price rose from then on. So proximity matters. Decision makers you're in rooms with matter. Vendors, partners, clients you know by name. This is network equity. You don't rebuild this from scratch when you leave, you leverage it. Number 4, I want you to record moments of leadership. So the times that you influenced direction, that you spoke up, that you made a call, when you carried weight in the room, this is power. So you want to write it down as well. So let's talk about why this changes everything. It changes everything because clarity creates confidence. When women don't track their wins, they underprice themselves, they hesitate to leave, they think they're behind. When you do track your wins, you can see the leverage, you can see patterns, and you can see what you can monetize. This is how ownership starts. It's not with an LLC, it's with awareness. Now, some days you're going to pick up that journal, you're going to be tired, you're going to be frustrated, you're going to second guess yourself. And it's going to remind you that you've done hard things. You've been a key player. You've moved rooms before. I think about my daughter who got a great opportunity to be a part of a world-class organization. And when she was assigned to a specific project for this organization, she was in it. She was in the mix. She's part of the machine. And now that I had this language and experience, was able to talk to her about writing down some of the things that she was sharing with me each day. I'm talking heavy hitters in our city are in her inbox and on her phone and in her text messages. And what it has now done is it has built a level of confidence with her that she's aware of where she wasn't aware of it before. Proximity changes you, but only if you recognize it. We want this to position you for your next level. This journal needs to become your confidence file, your negotiation ammunition, your business foundation, your exit strategy in writing. So when you're ready to move, you're not starting over, you are building with receipts. Here's what I want to leave you with in terms of the victory journal. If you left your job tomorrow, could you clearly explain the value you bring? Not your title, not your resume. This is your impact. And if you couldn't, your victory journal needs to start this week. And it might be the thing that turns your next move into a power move. Listen, I want to leave you with something that really hit me this week that I believe is part of your story as well. I heard a pastor say something that recently stopped me in my tracks, and I'm going to read it to you. God is lining things up for a level you didn't see coming. You're stepping toward a door that looks confusing on paper, but makes perfect sense in the spirit. Fear will try to speak up. Doubt will question your readiness. The enemy will remind you of what you lack. But God is reminding you of who He is. You're not moving in your own strength. You're moving in His authority. This isn't coincidence. This is calling. So stop shrinking back. Stop second guessing what God already confirmed. Take the step. Use your voice. Hold your ground. Walk forward with confidence. You were created for this assignment. Faith doesn't replace action, it orders it. So let me bring this home. If you're standing at the edge of what's next, whether it's ownership, entrepreneurship, investing, and you're not sure which move fits you, I want to help you out. I built a quiz to help you position yourself. I want you to take it, and it's going to help you name your next wealth move with clarity. All you have to do is to go to quiz.daricerene.com. That's quiz.daricerene.com. You're not behind, sis. You're building legacy on purpose. And that's a wrap on this episode of Money, Legacy, and Her. I hope you're walking away with the insight and the fire you need to take your next bold step. Because when women build wealth, we shift generations. If this episode spoke to you, subscribe, rate, and leave a review. It helps more women find this movement. Want more? Head to moneylegacypodcast.com to get connected and grab tools to support your legacy journey. This is Darice Rene signing off. Stay focused, stay powerful, and keep making money moves with purpose.